Hello, my beauties. Hello, hello, hello. Let's try the glasses to not have the reflection. I apologize. I'm gonna have to do this all the time. Hello, it's Viv here for my usual Sunday live from Yoga Bliss Dance. Welcome. I'm a meditation teacher, spiritual teacher, and holistic stress coach. If you are new here, happy to have you here. All right. What are we going to talk about today? Let's see. I titled this video 2026. Of course, we're all looking there. We're just about to step into it. Actions and mindsets for an easier life, for a softer life. Actually, I think I changed it to a easier, softer life. So that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to share what I'm doing. I invite you to also share in the chat. And if you're here live, please say hello. All right. Let me know that I'm not just sitting in a room. Hold on. Yep. Okay. Everything's plugged in. There we are. All right. I am sitting in a room, but let me know that you guys are with me. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And I think it's about 1 or 2 o'clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's really hard to keep track of time zones when you're in a time zone that's new, new for you. And guys, let me close. Actually, let me please give me a chance to close some things here. Hopefully you're not, I don't think you see any of that. I'm just closing stuff in the background so my computer has all the juice it needs, right? It can do everything. I think that's really good. All right. Welcome. Hey, if you're just joining, say hi, say how you're doing, and hope you guys had a Merry Christmas. Whatever you celebrate, I'm not even going to go through the list, honestly. I sent out my newsletter earlier and I was like, I'm not really a holiday person. I've never really been into the holidays, and part of that might be family, just obviously how I was raised and how the holidays were. So let me know if, hey, homeschooling mama, hey, I've got to shorten names. Okay, well, yeah, California. Hey, Goddess, good to see you. Yeah, California folks, I have to think of East Coast. Like, there's no way I can think of like from the UK time, all the different time zones in the US. So I typically aim in my mind, I aim for like the New York time zone because that's where I'm from and lived most, well, actually, I think I always lived in, yeah, Eastern time. So how was your holiday? Did you have a restful or enjoyable or invigorating time? I never really know what do people want to have, because the holidays, like I said, for me, it was always, there's often a lot of drama, family drama around my holidays, but so I'm grateful in that I had a very peaceful holiday. So yeah, nice to see you homeschool. And so let me just jump right in. So if you're just joining, say hi. Don't be shy. So a phrase that came to me, guys, as I was trying to prepare a little bit for the video and like, what do I want to share with you? I got de-stress and manifest. De-stress, let me close more tabs. De-stress and manifest. And I think for a lot of us, especially Black and Brown women in the US, right now, we are under a lot of stress. And I'm going to keep saying this, not at all to fearmonger. You guys know it's not. It's about acknowledging what is it, 350,000 women? I don't know how many Black women specifically have lost their jobs, like were targeted and let go out of their good jobs, right? Um, so there's just, there's a lot, as I've said before. It may not be affecting you, and I hope it's not like directly, but there is a stress and fear cloud that is very strong this year, 2025, and it's hovering and it's all around the planet. This is not just in one country. There's definitely a lot of, you see all the different weather things that are happening. Like I'm actually really happy not to be on the East Coast because I saw the snowstorm, but then I'm like, how big was it? And I didn't quite see that. So anybody in New York City, let me know, how was that snowstorm? Um, I'll chat more at the end, so stick around if you just want to chat with me, but I'm gonna stay a little bit on topic. So yeah, so homeschool says it was nice. I spent time with the family and was able to see your new niece. It was peaceful and filled with laughter. That's fantastic. That is really good. That is really good. I'm so happy. Yeah, I'm so happy for you that you had a peaceful one. So my question to you, though, is how can we have this is really for me a soft, I wrote soft life in 2026. And then I was like, soft, and this may be because I am from the Caribbean, and I think that there's this, you know, this like you've got to be working, working, working all the time. And of course, then that fits in with the American culture where I grew up. But instead of soft life in 2026, I made it softer. You see that? I was like, soft life. Okay, maybe I'm not ready for that, even though, again, I'm officially retired now. Um, and so excited about that, but that feels strange. So maybe I'll talk more about that. But how can you watching this think about how you can have a softer life in 2026? And I'm talking to people who want that. I'm talking to especially women who want, you've worked really hard, you are working hard, you have a lot of responsibilities, whether like in my case, when I was younger, just to parents who needed a lot of support. And of course, that was good culturally, that was not a problem. It's like, but they had culturally supporting parents, of course, I believe is the righteous thing to do. But if the parents are create trouble for themselves, again, please put in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. Parents who, whether through addiction and their own, mental and emotional dramas, create stress for themselves. So I'm talking to those of you who are ready for a softer life in 2026. All right, so let's get to it. I wrote down, and I'm going to share 4 different things that I think as a coach, as a mentor, to focus on, and maybe I'll tease them out a little bit. Okay. And before I go much further, I also am going to make an announcement as well, okay, that I think will interest some of you maybe in the live or in the replay. So regular self-care. Regular self-care, again, especially for Black and brown women, I feel that we have been taught to de-emphasize that. And I just want to call out superficial self-care. So what do I mean by that? And again, I'm going to offend some people, but you know, they say it's actually good on your channel to state your opinions. Superficial self-care is the nails. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying, is it the depth of self-care? That's what I'm saying. So the nails, the hair always done, and that's it. The hair and nails and just the appearance. Now, of course, appearance is important for our self-esteem. I get that. What I'm saying is let's take our self-care beyond the superficial. So let's take our self-care beyond the superficial. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So let me know in terms of when you think of self-care. Okay. Maybe some of you, do you go for massage even once a month? Some of you, you could afford to do that, but maybe it's not something that's part of your routine. So what if in 2026, in pursuit of this softer life, and I don't like the word pursuit, I take that back, not pursuit, in being receptive to a softer life, what about a massage every other week or once a month? Okay. Now, some of you here, because my audience has quite a wide span, you might say, well, Viv, I can't afford that. Now, you guys know I'm trained as a massage therapist, and what I can tell any of you, and this will apply to a lot of you, if there's a massage school in your town, you can go to the massage school at certain times of the year. It's not all the time, but when they have a class, and it's pretty much throughout the whole year. As a cohort comes through, they need bodies to practice on. So you can look up, Google your local massage school and say, when is your clinic? Okay, so those of you who are low income, check your massage school for when there's a clinic. They literally just want people to come in. You can have any problem or no problem. So you could just need a simple, I think did we call it a fluff and buff massage? I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I think it's fluff and buff. I never said that because I did a different type of massage called shiatsu, which is different than the typical one. But you can also get a massage, okay? That way, if you're low income. So regular self-care, um, can it include maybe having a dietitian or someone look at your diet? Many of us have high blood pressure, have lupus, have reproductive issues, right? My sacral chakra videos and about, healing our sort of sexual and reproductive health are always big. And so that tells me there's a lot going on there. So maybe hire someone or go in and have your diet looked at and get like a food plan or whatever. Hi, Gregory. Welcome. Hope you had a good holiday. And let me put up, yeah. And Homeschool says, congrats on your retirement. I feel personally to make my life softer. Okay, good. So again, and I always say this, a lot of times it's a small group of people on the live, okay? But there's always, always a resonance. There's always at least one. And typically, especially if I'm doing intuitive stuff, there's a cohort who needs to hear what I'm saying. So maybe it is for you, Homeschool. Yeah, I think we have culturally, through history, through enslavement, and then coming out of that, always been looked at as the workhorse, the and then for everybody in the US, the hustle. You're supposed to hustle when you're productive is when you're worthwhile. That's what we're taught. It's not really said directly, but it is absolutely implied. The more productive you are, like a machine, the more I can get out of you in terms of what you give is your worth. And so I'm really trying to undo that. So, Gregory, yeah, let me know what you think about that. Because again, this is going to trigger some people watching, maybe in the replay. But I have seen as my channel is mainly aimed at spiritual women, is that there is an interplay. I believe we co-create. Okay. So things happen. I'm not saying we control everything. We don't. But there's a co-creation, there's a dance of spirit, God, the divine, and then our energy. And together that creates a reality. All right. Like the infinity symbol. Okay. This is really deep. So focus on your self-care and making it regular, making systems. And this is also big for me. Like, think of making things routines rather than just like, oh, sporadic. Like, oh, I'm gonna do that now because I'm pretty sure I do have ADD or ADHD as a creative person. I'm looking more into that, but so I'm interested in different things and I get bored, then I got to move on, right? So let me know if you're with me on that. Like, the culture also feeds an ADHD sort of lack of focus, lack of continuity, boredom, next thing, next thing, next thing, right? But regular self-care. So for me, so yeah, let me share what I did to ground it. It's not theoretical. Today, and with what I'm doing as I'm slow traveling, again, looking for a home, looking for a place to settle. I did a lot of walking. A lot of walking. I'm doing that daily. It's sort of required. And then I did yoga today. And you guys, again, just find somebody. I have some old yoga videos. It doesn't matter because it's the same. Your body's the same. You're going to feel the same. There are many, many wonderful yoga teachers. If you need chair yoga, if you want more power yoga. Hey, if you're just joining, I see the numbers going up. We're talking about regular self-care. To have a softer life in 2026, I have 4 things. I'm going to go on to thing number 2. So regular self-care, and again, go beyond the superficial. We're trained to think it's about how you look. Are your nails done? Is this sort of the fashion? Is the makeup right? this has always truly been more interested in not the appearance, but the actual, like, are you actually healthy? Do you actually have energy? Um, Rather than just putting on the appearance. Okay. So I just challenge you to think about that. Regular self care, maybe what are one or two things you could add in? Okay. So for me, like I said, and I know this being a certified yoga teacher, to do yoga at least 3 times a week. And I recommend that to clients. Anytime you're just working in this area of healing and self-care, 3 times a week is the minimum. So I can absolutely share that with confidence. Any less than 3 times a week, doing whatever it is, whether it's you go play squash, you play basketball, you go running with your sister, you go to the gym, 3 times a week to me is the minimum where it has an impact because it's steady enough. Once a week is not enough. Twice a week is too, there's a big drop off. Okay. Let me know what you think on that. The second thing I would say to have a softer life in 2026 is more joy and more play. And and that's very hard for me. Like I said, culturally, um, US culture, but also Caribbean culture, unlike, I was just saying this to someone, who is not from the islands. Many people, when they think of Jamaica, they think of the Rastafarians, and they have this stereotype of just, oh, you're just chilling out, you don't do any work. That is, that's a portion of like Jamaican culture specifically, but it's not the whole culture, nor is it really the majority, at least for my generation. So it was about work, okay, and working hard and being useful, being like that's a thing. It's not about a soft life, okay? So I'm going to, in 2026, my second thing was more joy and more play. And so that's very hard for me. It's hard for me to just like do playful things or just for fun. That is not my default. That is not my default. So I'm going to pause for a second, see what Gregory says. You worked on Christmas at your new job. You currently have 3 employers. That's awesome. So you get up, well, you get up very early. That is actually the best time, Gregory. They say the morning, it's called, it really like the hour of God, Brahma Muhurta. And I believe it's between 3 and 6 or 4 and 6, like right before sunrise is said to have the highest amount of spiritual energy across the planet. So like I said, I think it's 3 to 6 or like 4 to 6. Those hours, the early morning hours, have the most spiritual energy. So that's great. 3 employers is a lot. 3 employers is a lot. I know actually that, and I've shared this before, when I got really sick when I was quite young. So there wasn't anything wrong with me. Do you know what I mean? I had good health, but I got sick when I had 4 jobs. I had 4, which I still can't. I'm like, how did you do 4 jobs? Like one was like some real like gig thing, but it was still 4 different things to think about. And I got pneumonia, I believe it was either pneumonia or bronchitis. So I just, be careful. Be careful. And Greg says this is his practice. I love hearing from the divine feminine in the house, divine masculine as well, says, I don't speak to anyone or search my phone till you're done. It sets the tone for your day. Oh my gosh, that's so key. The phone, again, a whole other video. I really do want to do a rant on AI, on the toxicity of AI and how it will affect its culture and is already affecting culture way beyond what the ordinary person thinks. It's already having vast impact on our lives. I already believe it's, impacted elections and thoughts within a culture. So it's already shifting the power of AI to influence people through social media, and any media is already having devastating impact. And I think it will be looked back on as scientists are going to analyze, professors are going to talk about this period of time, but that's a separate issue. Oh, okay, good. Greg says I plan on stopping 2 of them by the end of January. Seriously, I don't know you, but I know you over this time, and I would definitely say, yeah. If you have a plan and it's limited for anyone watching now or replay folks, absolutely. If you can sprint, I call it a sprint. You can do like 2 jobs, because 2 jobs, depending on what the jobs are, could be crazy, could be really intense, right? Like doctors don't tend to have second jobs, right? Like some jobs you can't have a second job. Um, even, anyway. But on that note, with what Gregory's saying about 3 jobs, I just want to say right here before I go too deep into the video, many of you watching, I have just made my masterclass. So I want to announce it. It's a new thing I put out. It's a masterclass and it's called Quiet Exit. Okay. Quiet Exit. Stay in Europe and the UK for 3 to 6 months on a budget. And it's a masterclass. I presented it in Blacksit Global, and then I'm fleshing it out even more. I'm making worksheets, and it is for men or women who, of course, I aimed it, the picture is of a young Black woman. I'm like, maybe she should be older. But anyway, if you need to rest, I'm serious here. If you need to rest, if you need a little break from what's going on, from your stress level in the US, specifically, I don't know if all the things I share would work for a Canadian, but most of it would. So, especially for Black women, if you need a little break, you're feeling like your health, your mental well being is being affected. Maybe you were part of the layoff. Okay. Maybe you were one of the women laid off from your federal job. So I made this masterclass. It is literally on pre-sale for $21. Okay. The price is going to go up early January 5th or 6th, the price will go up. But I walk you through how to stay in Europe and the UK, especially on a budget for 3 to 6 months. So check it out. And I'm going to actually put the link. I have the link ready because I did want to share that with you. Okay. It's self-guided, obviously at the price of $21. And it includes about an hour of video, but in sections. And then I'm going to have worksheets. You can, if you need to save some money also. So it isn't just about, oh, I'm touring around Europe. It can be a way to save money. And I share that in this masterclass. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions about it, like Homeschool Mama. Or Gregory. It can be for anyone. Again, it can also work for places like South America, anywhere where there are short-term rentals. And I talk about getting good short-term rentals and also house sitting, which provides free housing. So again, if you are someone who is thinking of how can I take a break from the US, I have this masterclass, the link, I'll also put it below the video. So let's keep going because, when I hear someone saying they have 3 jobs, that tells you how hard it is to live in the US. Also, what I'm sharing can work, a lot of it can work in Asia as well. Places like Vietnam, Thailand, the Philippines, Cambodia. There are different things going on. You have to do your research on the country, but what I share in this masterclass helps you understand some concepts you can put right into action. Okay, if you need a break, which is what I'm taking. Okay, so I'm doing it. I'm not just like talking about it, I like making stuff up. Okay, so more joy, more play. So what does that mean for me? Like I said, play is hard. Play is hard. Okay, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for this. So while I'm taking my quiet exit, I love used bookstores. So I found one and I found a little book in Italian. I think it's for kids. I was making the man laugh in the store because I says, because I was like, I don't know, these books are all too hard in their foreign language section. I found this little tiny book and it's still hard. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I said something and he just chuckled. He's like, well, good luck with that. I'm like, yeah. We all start somewhere, right? So for me, maybe that's play, just going to use bookstores and do different things. Like I'm not, I'm really health conscious, so I'm not like a big like party girl or substances or anything like that. So speaking of, I'm gonna have some orange. So share in the chat what you're thinking. Mm, this is really good. It's not organic. I'm eating stuff in the UK, seeing what their regular food is like. Okay. So more play, more joy. For me, it's actually being out in nature. And it's going to link with the third thing. I'll keep going. Better relationships. That's something I am aiming for in my softer life in 2026. And I invite you to think about it. Actually, let's jump back to that second thing. How can you have more joy and more play in your life? Because even like Gregory, what he said, again, it's triggering something in my mind. And homeschool mama, we're so focused and so trained and like it's bred into us, work, 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 work. I think we need to prioritize joy more, having fun more, and also checking that the fun doesn't hurt us. The fun isn't getting really drunk once a week after work with the girls, um, or going to Atlantic City. Again, I'm just sharing some people like I knew in the past. Just if this is you, not judging, but maybe if you're hearing me say this is to trigger something in you. Like I knew people, maybe I knew growing up, oh, I'm going to go to Atlantic City. Is that truly a good way to play and to relax and chill? Because you're losing your money. Okay. Again, let me know what you think in the comments. So, better relationships, that's the third thing for a softer life. I'm going to get clearer, and I've started this process. Let me move you guys closer. Get clearer on what I'm looking for in friends, right? Like, I'm looking for friends who just the fact that, here, let me take, hold on, hold on. Yeah. Um, like, yeah, a friend supportive? Do they like a friend of mine called? It's right after Christmas. It was, yeah, it was today or yesterday. Didn't even say Merry Christmas, or it was just they launched into, and let me know if you have friends like this. And this is someone I really enjoy their company, but I think I'm more like invested in the friendship than they are. They just launched into sort of some complaints. Like I said, never either just the cursory, oh, hope you had a Merry Christmas. That never came out of their mouth. They just went on about blah, 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 blah. I did this, I did that, I did that. Okay, so I am checking for better friends, but for better friends, because I said I'd talk about how do you manifest this, you need to get clear. And so I need to get clear, and you need to get clear on what do we want from people who we call friends. Because what I'm seeing clearly, and I've made a couple of videos just about this, touching into this with in women's relationships and women friends, sometimes there's one party. I don't think guys do this in the same way. There's one party that's more the complainer and they need the support, and you're always nurturing them. And maybe you don't get the same nurturing. Okay, do you feel me? You don't get the same nurturing from them, but and I think I fall into like I definitely can be like, okay, I need your advice or ask for help because I do ask for help, but I feel like I really try to when especially when asked or when it's clear to me, give that support, give that nurturing. And so this particular friend, I think I have given nurturing, but they've just been like, here I am traveling by myself, you know, and I honestly don't think they probably said, hope you're well, but there wasn't like, so what are you doing? How was your Christmas? There was none of that. There was that in a relationship, there has to be that give and take, that interest. So I'm going to focus on better relationships and I am going to note what I'm looking for. And I'm just writing like, what am I looking for? Okay. If you're watching my channel, you better not have the belief that it's all just really random. I do think we can cultivate, like I said, co-creation. When you start to get clearer on what you're looking for, now, not all your friends are going to be like the perfect friends. Okay. That's not going to happen. But you'll find, I even did this earlier this year. I made a new friend. They seem to fit what I literally was like, yes, this type of person, but I see that I wasn't clear. I wasn't clear. And Jack Canfield says this, take responsibility for everything in your life, like everything. Things that you really are like, I didn't control that. Just be like, oh, it was my responsibility, or it's me. Like just take responsibility. So this friend, wonderful in many ways, but there's some things, some areas that I think were a blind spot for me that I hadn't clarified what my needs were in the friendship. And when I tried to express them, this person like wasn't on board with that. And I actually ended the friendship. And it was a little painful, but I feel like I did the right thing. And probably they do too, because again, it's a match, right? It has to be a match. So better relationships. And the final thing here, because some of you'd be like, well, yeah, if you want a softer life, you need more money. So I put number 4 as loving attention to money, loving attention to money. So again, I have a wide span of viewers. So I could just tell sometimes the viewers I've talked to, again, and maybe those are the ones who, for whatever reason, I was talking about trauma before quite a bit. They were really like low income. So I think that it does have an impact how you view money. If we view money as of course there's cheating in the system, the system is slanted for sure. But how can we work with what exists and maybe with loving attention to money and to prosperity and welcoming it in and undoing, because I do think there's poverty programming, and I think it's put into religions by people who were not poor. That, oh, this is the better way. If you're poor, you're better. And you over centuries train people to think, oh, okay, I'm a good person because I'm poor. And again, and I've said this before, who benefits from you thinking, oh, I'm only a good person if I'm poor? Clearly that doesn't benefit poor people to believe that. Okay? It does not benefit poor people to create or believe that. So it has to come from people who have a lot of money and maybe, especially in the past and even today, want to hoard that wealth instead of really helping others understand, share their gifts, and make money to support themselves, right? I was talking to a man here in the UK who was very jazzed about electric vehicles and self-driving vehicles. And they casually mentioned, and I did mention this before, they casually mentioned many people will be made redundant. As a spiritual person, as a spiritual teacher, and then they went on in the conversation, I thought, so this thing that you're saying is so great, but many people will be made redundant. Why don't we focus on that? Because do you think there's not going to be strife? Do you think there's not going to be heartbreak? And, you know, like I can't think of another word except like uprisings. If thousands and hundreds of thousands of people lose their job that this is what they did because of this great technology, how does that help society? I didn't get into that with this gentleman because he was so all in on the miracle of the technology, but seemed to have very little sort of care about the people who would be made redundant. And I think even that word I find offensive because it's like redundant. You mean they will not have work, they will have trouble feeding themselves. That's what you're saying, right? Like I said, I did not get into it with him. So Gregory, and so loving attention to money, right? Undoing some things that we have been taught. I think that's really important for a softer life in 2026. If we're struggling always for money, that is problematic. But Gregory said something here. So who else is here? I want you to also just please share your thoughts about these like 4 things that I think 4 qualities that are important. So Gregory, you said something. Yeah. It's fascinating. You said you've never thought about taking a break out of the country. I think you would be a bit, yeah. And most people would be. Most people would be, for sure. But I'm really surprised you never thought about that, actually. That's interesting. So yeah, different strokes for different folks. I do want to add here, this isn't part of this like, oh, okay, yeah, it's everybody's moving abroad now. It's all political. I've always remember I did come to the country legally. I immigrated in with family. And so um, I always say humans have always moved for a better life. So I moved before. Yes, I was a kid. I came quite young and got my education here, paid taxes to America, all my work here in America, all of that, right, in the US. But so yeah, but knowing that, okay, we came from this other country, I think just automatically is like, oh yeah, we could be in another country. But it's true. Any of you watching who are immigrants to the US, do you feel that you're more capable of like, oh, okay, I could go live in another country. I could live in Mexico, or I could go back to Colombia, or I could go back to the Philippines where I'm from when I retire. Like, let me know. I'd really like to know in the chat. So, mhm. The heated, yeah, heated massage chair. No, that is nice. Actually, I like that. That can go into regular self-care. Some friends, these are the friends I talk about who I'm a minimalist and they're maximalists, so it's perfect. Of course, they happen to have a massage chair laying around, Greg, and it's so funny. They're like, "Yeah, you want this massage chair?" And again, because I typically try to own very little and I don't like a lot of clutter, I'm like, yeah, that would be nice. So we always joke about like the fact that the friendship is so funny because we're like these extremes. Like they store stuff, they have a lot of stuff. So they gave me the massage chair. It was already like used, but it was really good. It also was heated. So I did enjoy it. Though I also at the same time found it a pain because you had to like move it around and like um it didn't fit with the chairs I had. So I had a massage chair, but it's a very specific shape and I didn't have a standard type chair that like I had like bar stool chairs and it was taller, it didn't fit. Then I had like a loungy kind of reclinery and I don't know. So the minimalist in me, it was always kind of a pain. So I hope this was helpful, this idea of a softer life in 2026, because Spirit said to me, if you want to manifest, you need to de-stress. Again, think about it. Why do poorer people, working class people, it can be hard to break through to maybe the life they want? It's because they have more stress typically. So Spirit is saying the message, de-stress if you can. First, focus on the de-stress, and then you'll be able to manifest. So rather than the just work hard, work hard, work hard mentality, focus on the self-care, right? And removing the stress response, taking care of the nervous system, and then you'll be able to manifest better. And so that's what I did. That's why I took my quiet exit. And like I said, it can be for 3 months, it could be 1 month, it can be 6 months, or more. And if you want to find out about that, again, I will put it below the video, because it is a long, it's a long link. Looking for it in there. I will put it again below the video. So, any channel members watching this, I'm really thinking that our December live, where I want to do readings for those who show up, so live with me, this is for channel members only. I'm thinking of doing a New Year's Eve. Like that keeps going through my head. Like that sounds cute. So not New Year's Eve, but the eve of New Year's Eve. Okay. So keep a watch out for that. And as always, also my latest video, I have one. It's a really good meditation. I'm going to be leaning into the meditation and the wellness practices like tapping, and meridian energization. I'm going to be doing more of that, more wellness focused. It's just a matter of setting up the camera and having a nice background where I can move, where there's enough space to move. And so that's the little bit that's holding me back. So I'm going to be doing wellness stuff as we go into for the workhorses in the house. I will be doing that more in 2026. So regular self-care, more joy and more play, better relationships. What do you want in your relationships? and more loving attention to money. And the loving attention is important instead of the fearful attention or the lack attention. Okay. You guys, before I go, any comments? Let me see. Let me give a moment for that. Oh, yeah, here's the link. I'm going to put it as a live link also once I close the video. Again, it's just $21, and that's the price in pre-enrollment. And I talk about using house sitting and really low cost, judicious Airbnbs. I give all these tips on basically how your housing costs can be so low, lower than they are in America. So it's great, say if someone, you're giving up your apartment, or your your lease is gonna end in 2 or 3 months, you can do this plan, and so you're not having 2 rents, okay? So, because some of you are probably like, "Oh, well, yeah, I hear what you're saying, the housing is cheap, but I have an apartment that I'm paying for, I have a home I'm paying for," whatever. This can be a way to do it, or also if you have retirement, you have savings. Again, this is if you need a break, you want a sabbatical, so you could have retirement, you could work online, or your job can allow you to work online. Just say, "Hey, I'm wanting to take a break. My partner and I were looking at maybe retiring in a different country. Could I work online for you? Because I can still do the job." Many employers will say yes. Okay, so there are different ways around it. Oh, nice. Thank you. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. So that was a recent one. The one I actually meant to highlight was post-flight, post-holiday. A lot of you were traveling, okay, and your energy can really get kind of almost like junk embedded in it from being around a lot of people you don't know, being in tight spaces and being stressed out and in environments where many people move through. So check out that travel that video. Let me just see. What did I call it? I'm not good at remembering the names of my own videos because sometimes I really change the names a lot. But let me pull up my channel. Let me pull up Yoga Bliss Dance in another tab and see. Oops. Okay. I think I'm stressing my here it is. I call it an energy cleanse, a waterfall meditation, and also a breathing practice. We do a breathing practice, alternate nostril breathing, that calms the nervous system. Okay, so check out that meditation, the energy cleanse waterfall meditation. Check that out. And what else did I do recently? I know there was another one that you might want to check. Oh, and the 3 journal questions to close 2025, and there are timestamps, so you can jump into that video, and I give 3 powerful journaling questions to wrap up 2025 in a good way, so you're able to start fresh in 2026. So beautiful. On that note, I am gonna go. Thank you so much for being here. And especially replay folks, do leave comments. I will respond to every comment. If you have any questions or anything like that, especially if you comment in the first 24 hours, I will absolutely respond to the comment, okay? Unless I'm asleep. All right, much love. I'll talk to you soon. And if I don't come back on before to the public, Happy New Year. Okay, again, channel members, which you can do that by clicking the join button. I thank you for that. I will have a live where I do mini readings for those who are there, and that will be our December live get together. Okay, so consider becoming a channel member. It's open to all. I mean, I think I just changed. It's like anyone can become a channel member. So it could be all different types of folks in there as long as you love my channel and vibe with what I share. Also, please leave. I'm going to stop the live right now. When you get a chance, if there's types of affirmations you're wanting to see, or types of meditations, or any topic you would like me to cover, let me know. Okay. Bye. Happy New Year.